Caserio brings in Stefon Diggs and Joe Mixon, and obviously one goes for 160, the other has 2 touchdowns. Seems like everything the fucking Houston Texans are doing is working. Yeah. Okay, seems like everything is working down in Houston. And Joe Mixon, obviously a massive piece of it. CJ Stroud's the real deal, though. This guy, that 3rd and 11 throw in the 4th quarter, and the amount of confidence and where he put that ball to win the game, essentially ends the game as the Colts were coming back in the loud house. The place was going crazy. This ball right here, boom, strike, first down. That's about the game right there.
Okay, CJ Stroud, talk about getting praised on a weekly basis. Wow, just wow. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about what DeMeco Ryans isn't telling us about CJ Stroud. Remember, CJ Stroud is coming off of a historic rookie season, as he also had a great opening day game against the Colts. With the Texans hosting the Bears on Sunday Night Football, they now have a golden opportunity to prove themselves on a national stage. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So here it is. Are you confident in the Texans beating the Bears on Sunday Night Football? I believe the Houston Texans are not only going to beat the Chicago Bears, I believe the Houston Texans are going to blow out the Chicago Bears. And a big reason for that is because I am a huge believer in CJ Stroud. When you watch CJ Stroud play, you're just constantly amazed by his abilities on a weekly basis. The man has no weaknesses whatsoever. The guy has a cannon for an arm. He's got unbelievably awesome accuracy. He has underrated mobility. He has a good feel in the pocket. He knows how to evade pressure. The guy does everything you want in a starting quarterback. CJ Stroud is also a phenomenal leader, and I gotta confess to you guys, CJ Stroud is my favorite quarterback in the National Football League. That's right, out of all 32 NFL starters, CJ Stroud is my favorite quarterback to watch. You look at how CJ Stroud has been able to elevate receivers on the Houston Texans and how he has made teammates around him better. In his rookie season, Nico Collins was his wide receiver 1. Nobody ever heard of Nico Collins before 2023 outside of die-hard Texans fans, or if you were a fan of Michigan back in college football. Casual fans didn't know who Nico Collins was, and you know what CJ Stroud did? He elevated his game big time. He turned Nico Collins into a top 10 receiver, and the Houston Texans saw that in CJ Stroud and said, you know what? Let's go ahead and make a trade for Stefon Diggs. Even though Stefon Diggs might be a locker room problem for the Bills, he's going to be a great fit for the Houston Texans because he's going to be behind an awesome leader in CJ Stroud. I love how CJ Stroud always relies on his religion in order for him to push through his faith. It's a great thing what CJ Stroud is promoting, and I hope more quarterbacks in the future take the path of CJ Stroud in terms of what they believe in during their free time. CJ Stroud is an incredible leader. He's got elite intangibles. There are no weaknesses in CJ Stroud's game whatsoever. I believe the Houston Texans are going to blow out the Chicago Bears because they are led by a far better quarterback when you compare the Texans to the Bears. The Chicago Bears are led by Caleb Williams, who paints his nails as a hobby. You look at how Caleb Williams did against the Tennessee Titans in his debut. He completed under 50% of his passes. He couldn't even get to 100 yards passing, and quite frankly, the offensive line played offensive for the Chicago Bears. The offensive line played like they had no respect for Caleb Williams out there on the football field, which I can't blame him for. That's what happens when you paint your fingernails, which is what I tried to warn everybody about. If a quarterback is painting his fingernails as a hobby, yeah, it's technically fine. There's not a crime in doing that, but you really think offensive linemen are going to respect Caleb Williams for painting his fingernails? But I'm not here to rant about Caleb Williams. I'm here to rave about CJ Stroud. You look at how the Houston Texans defense is also going to be much improved. They didn't have a good game against the Colts, but I expect they will improve against the Chicago Bears because they've got Danielle Hunter, who is one of the most underrated edge rushers in football. They've also got Will Anderson Jr., another underrated edge rusher for the Houston Texans. They're loaded on defense. Their offense is absolutely stacked. You look at the weapons the Texans have. They have Joe Mixon running the football. He had a great game against the Colts in week 1. I expect Joe Mixon to have another great game for the Houston Texans in week 2. He is one of the more underrated running backs in the game of football right now. I mean, of course, what about the wide receiver position? They've got Stefon Diggs. They've got Nico Collins. They've got Tank Dell. They've got Dalton Schultz at the tight end position as well, and their offensive line is not the greatest in the world, but it's definitely not the worst in the world either. And they got Bobby Slowick calling the plays on offense. This Houston Texans offense is stacked on paper, but CJ Stroud is also making this offense stacked on paper because he has the ability to make his teammates better around him. And more importantly, CJ Stroud brings the belief factor out of the Texans. You can tell that his teammates always believe in CJ Stroud, which is why they play better than usual. You don't necessarily see that for other quarterbacks in the National Football League. CJ Stroud has that rare ability to make every single teammate on the football field a better player. That's how great CJ Stroud is in terms of impact. What CJ Stroud did was absolutely historic. I want to play you guys this clip from First Take. Stephen A. Smith asked Caleb Williams about whether he could become this year's version of CJ Stroud. I thought the topic was absolutely foolish and clownish, but Caleb Williams took the bait anyway. He answered the question. Roll the film.
Is it wrong for me to say I saw CJ Stroud do that last year in Houston? I think this brother could do that here this year. Am I wrong for saying that?
No.
He can, but why even put that? Why even make it about CJ Stroud? It's not about the comparison.
Who cares? We're talking sports. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you crystallize what the brother brings to the table. I'm just crystallizing it for the audience. Am I wrong for saying that? Say it again. Say it again.
No.
Thank you very much.
Was it motivating for you to see what CJ did in his first year?
It was exciting. It's never happened, obviously, to have someone come in like that and have an explosive offense the way they did.
You serious, Caleb Williams? You really believe that you can just walk into the NFL and become the next CJ Stroud? Talk about having severe arrogance in your answers. And yeah, I know he didn't say that straight up, but I could tell that's exactly what Caleb Williams was thinking in his head. The fact that there's even a conversation about that, you gotta be kidding me. People are thinking that CJ Stroud had a good year because he was on a good team, and although that was true to an extent, who is the reason why that Texans team was good to begin with? CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has elite leadership abilities. Caleb Williams does not have the same abilities to be an elite leader. You look at how this guy cried in his mother's arms after losing a game in college football, while CJ Stroud has been doing nothing but great stuff for the city of Houston. He's been an incredible leader for the Houston Texans, and now people think Caleb Williams can walk in there and become a great leader right off the bat. Heck no, that's not going to happen. As far as how the game is going to play out, I got the Bears scoring 17 points while I got the Texans scoring 34 points. It's going to be a nice, comfortable win for the Houston Texans. I got CJ Stroud going off in this game. He's going to throw for over 300 yards. Nico Collins is going to have a really good game as well. I'm excited about the future of the Texans, and I'm really excited about how the Texans are going to perform on Sunday Night Football against the Bears, because it's going to make people's eyes open up and say, wow, this Houston Texans team could be the best team in the AFC. That's how high I am on the Houston Texans. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl this year, but if they get to something like the AFC Championship game, I'm not going to be surprised one bit whatsoever, because they already have a great quarterback in CJ Stroud, and I only expect CJ Stroud to get better. As far as what DeMeco Ryans isn't telling you guys about CJ Stroud, he's not telling you guys that he already has a top 5 quarterback on his roster and that he might be having a potential MVP winner. That's how high I am on CJ Stroud, and that's how high DeMeco Ryans is on CJ Stroud. In fact, the Offensive Rookie of the Year award should be named the CJ Stroud Trophy. That's how great CJ Stroud was in his rookie season, and I only expect improvement from CJ Stroud in year 2. I got this being a nice, comfortable win for the Houston Texans, and watch out for Joe Mixon, because he's going to have a big game for the Texans. I believe the Chicago Bears are going to get emasculated on the football field. Watch out for Caleb Williams struggling big time. I expect him to struggle versus pressure against the Texans. Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter will have effective games for the Houston Texans when it comes to edge rushing against Caleb Williams and the Bears. I fully expect the Chicago Bears to lose this game by 17 points. It's not going to be close. The Houston Texans are going to win this game comfortably. So that is why I am extremely confident in the Texans beating the Bears on Sunday Night Football, as they will beat the Bears by the score of 34-17. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinNashTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinNashTran, and that's Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinNashTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content. that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.